Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're taking a look at some very fun battles from the Spring Cup, where a trainer goes hunting for Shadow Cacturne with XL Swadloon. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community and fellow content creator Mark Pogo W, so many thanks for the battle submission. This trainer built a line of Barbarical, Mawile, and Swadloon specifically to try and hard counter the popular It's Axon line, which is Tentacruel, Amoonguss, and Shadow Cacturne, and well, he is able to find his target a few times. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and take a look at XL Swadloon in the Spring Cup. Team's off to a great start in game number 1, leading into Tentacruel. There's an Amoonguss save switch. At game number 1, Mark may have found his target. In comes the Mawile. It does hurt my heart a little bit to see a purified Mawile, knowing that the Shadow does typically outperform. Amoonguss able to land the Grass Knot, but still not able to inflict a ton of damage here. Ironhead is going to connect, down goes Amoonguss, and back in comes Tentacruel. Tentacruel going to be hit with an Ironhead. No charge move that Mawile has is going to do a ton of damage here, so Tentacruel with a comfortable no shield. In the back, that's not a Cacturne, but it is going to be a Ferrothorn, and the bug bites are slowly adding up here for Swadloon. Swadloon is going to be shielding up the Flash Cannon from the Ferrothorn, and now gets to fire off Silver Wind. Silver Wind, of course, does have a small chance of boosting attack, but no buff comes through. And unfortunately for this poor Ferrothorn, they just have no fast move pressure here. They go for the Flash Cannon. Swadloon takes it like it's nothing. Swadloon now going to be met with a Tentacruel switching, and Swadloon will go for the Energy Ball. Energy Ball is going to be shielded. There's the switch into Barbarical, and Barbarical can very comfortably survive a Scald, as it is only going to be hitting for neutral damage. Barbarical does get debuffed, which is a little bit unfortunate, but Barbarical is now completely in the driver's seat of this game. There's an Acid Spray from the opponent, harshly lowering the defense of Barbarical, but that's still not going to give them an opportunity to win this game. They shield up the Tentacruel, knowing they need it to beat Swadloon, but there's another Cross Chop loaded and ready to go. Swadloon gets the Bug Bite down and takes the Game 1 win. Moving to the next match, and Barbarical is actually met with a problem Pokemon leading into Jellicent. Now, Jellicent would absolutely destroy the back Pokemon, so Barbarical kind of has to stay in here and play this out. Even though Swadloon is a Grass type, Bug Bite not going to do much against a Ghost type. So now the Shadow Ball lands, Barbarical losing almost its entire health bar is going to return fire with the Stone Edge, and bad news as the opponent will commit the shield. Barbarical only able to get the Cross Chop. If the opponent's counting, they'll know this is not enough, and they are, and that's going to make this a very difficult game. In comes Swadloon. Swadloon with the no shield. Let's see the bulk. Shadow Ball is going to connect. There's a pivot out into Shadow Amoonguss. Shadow Amoonguss instantly met with a Silver Wind. Silver Wind will be hitting for neutral damage, and that actually does end up being a CMP tie. So Amoonguss did fire off a Foul Play here. Foul Play is going to connect, and now in comes Mawile. Mawile has so much work ahead of it if it's going to try and sweep this game. Foul Play is going to connect, and there just isn't enough health remaining. I don't see a way out unless it's like a Ferrothorn in the back. Surf is going to be shielded, going for the Ironhead here. Ironhead is going to be resisted damage. Opponent is going to let that go. Oh my goodness, that works too. It's a Abomasnow in the back. The opponent tried to no shield, anticipating a power-up punch, but the Ironhead landing now means this Mawile, I think, is actually going to pull off this win. It basically had to be something double weak to fighting for there to be a chance in this game, and as it turns out, it was. In comes Jellicent, but the Jellicent is just too low. The opponent was in an unwinnable position. If they shield a power-up punch, they lose, but if they no-shield an Ironhead, they also lose, and unfortunately, they make the wrong call. We move to the next match, Barbarical into Tentacruel. There's the safe switch into Amoonguss. And oh my goodness, has Swadloon found its target? Is this going to be the Cacturne in the back? Amoonguss goes for the Grass Knot. That's significant damage onto Mawile. Mawile farming up quite a bit of energy and going to unleash the Ironhead. Decision time for the opponent. Will they play for switch? No, they are going to let Amoonguss go and instead go for farm on Tentacruel. They are waiting down the timer. In comes Tentacruel. Mawile barely hanging on, very low HP, but able to make a last-second Ironhead. Iron Head is going to land. Tentacruel still pretty healthy, and they do have an energy advantage, but these Mud Slaps from Barbaracle will add up. In comes Barbaracle. Barbaracle is going to no shield as the Scald comes through from the Tentacruel. Scald is going to land. There's the Cacturne, and look at Swadloon go. Cacturne doesn't even make a move. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. We move to the next match. Oh no, tell me it's not the same team again. They save switch. It's a Leavanny actually, so it's not the same team. I do think Leavanny has pretty nice play in this meta, but not as a safe swap. Leavanny really functions better as a closer if you can bait out the best grass answer. Mawile, still pretty healthy because Leavanny doesn't have any coverage into a steal, is going to go for a power-up punch, looking to boost up its damage, and now make it to an Iron Head. Iron Head's going to be resisted, but at +1 attack, this will actually inflict some solid damage. Tentacruel has lost about 2/3 of its health bar already. In comes Barbaracle. Barbaracle knows it can no shield. Please, tell me it's the Cacturne. Scald is going to connect. Oh no, there it is. It's the Cacturne, and they just quit. They want none of Mark's nonsense, and that's a good game. Great lead in the next match. Barbaracle into Wheezing Mud Slaps, adding up quite a bit here. Opponent is going to safe switch into Lapras, and Barbaracle is going to fire off a cross chop, looking to get some chip damage, and now Swadloon hits the field. Swadloon, I don't know how much damage it's going to be taken from Ice Beam, but Mark seems confident that it will not KO. Ice Beam connects. That's huge damage. Swadloon barely hanging on, but it will be able to return fire with a Silver Wind. Silver Wind no shielded by the Lapras, so Swadloon is able to keep switch advantage. I'm a little bit surprised that the opponent didn't end up making a play for switch, considering this lead matchup is a pretty poor one. In comes Barbaracle, opponent overheats it. That's not going to do a lot of damage, and in the back is Ferrothorn, and my goodness, so many grass types in the back. The Swadloon and Mawile are feasting. Add another Tentacruel in the next match. There's the safe switch. This time it's to a Credilli, and Credilli actually puts up a pretty significant fight against Fire Fang Mawile. If this was Astonish Mawile, Credilli would never be able to flip this, but Fire Fang is a lot slower. So if the opponent gets the shield call right here, which they do, then switch advantage might actually be flipped, because Mark's at a pretty significant pacing disadvantage. Rock Tomb is going to land. Now we're going to see the Power-Up Punch thrown. If the opponent's counting, they know that they can confidently no shield here. The Power-Up Punch gets shielded. The opponent not familiar with the counts, and that's going to cost them dearly, as now they have surrendered a shield on a move that would have done basically no damage. Mark needs to get to the Iron Head and does get to the Iron Head on very low HP. Will this be enough to knock out? It's super effective, and it will, securing switch advantage. Back in comes the Tentacruel, but they don't get a lot of farm, and they're about to be swiftly answered with Barbaracle. Barbaracle hits the field. In the back is Ferrothorn, so you would definitely prefer to still have the Mawile, but as we've seen Swadloon, it can't do much, but it can beat Ferrothorn, and it can beat the Shadow Cacturne. So now Ferrothorn lands the Flash Cannon, and we're going to see Swadloon over-farming here and looking to connect with a Silver Wind. Silver Wind is going to land and a boost. Let's go, Swadloon. Right as I said it couldn't do anything, it gets a boost. It survives a Flash Cannon. Swadloon heard me talking smack and decided to lock in. Oh my goodness. Swadloon with the boost, meaning that now Mark still has a shield for Barbaracle. Barbaracle is going to commit the shield, unfortunately shielding up an Acid Spray, and now if the opponent's able to get a Scald, this is going to inflict some serious damage. Stone Edge lands, Mud Slap KOs, and he's still able to survive with a win. We move to the next game, going up against an expert, Barbaracle. Oh no, that's not what you're hoping to see. Shadow Cacturne, safe switch Mawile, answered with a Gastrodon, and this is, unfortunately, truly terrible alignment. Gastrodon is going to be hit with the Iron Head. Gastrodon's never going to be respecting that. And Gastrodon is just going to put in so much work against the Barbaracle, so you almost have to bring in Swadloon. But that means that Swadloon is going to be taking damage here. The body slams will add up over time. The opponent goes for an Earth Power. They don't know what Swadloon is. They throw the double resisted Earth Power. This is a bug grass type trainer. To be fair, if I saw Swadloon, I would not know what type it was. They switch in Cacturne. What are they doing? How weak are they to Swadloon that this is the play that they made? They send in the Gastrodon, and this opponent, they had the game completely won off alignment. What is happening? In the back is Jellicent, and they were so fine. All they had to do was just keep the alignment, and they were winning. I don't know if they had a fight with their Cacturne earlier or what's going on, but they end up just fully sacrificing it to Swadloon. They get no advantage out of it, and now this game is rapidly tilting out of their favor. We are going to see these Shadow Balls shielded up by Barbaracle. Barbaracle already baited once, now going for the Stone Edge on the CMP tie. Stone Edge will inflict very solid damage. We are going to see a shield from the opponent, and this is going to be the end of Barbaracle, so it's all up to Swadloon. Swadloon, can it get the energy ball? Yes, it can, and that game never should have been a win, but with the opponent making an ill-timed swap, this game will end in victory. We move to the next game, Barbaracle into Tentacruel. Oh no, are we back to Tentacruel double grass? We are right on cue. There is the Amoonguss, and Amoonguss is going to be answered with Mawile. Mawile with the immediate no shield and knows it can survive whatever is thrown here. It is going to be the Grass Knot. Mawile continues to farm. Very nice timing there, and now going to look to pick up the KO with the Iron Head. Iron Head shielded this time, and the opponent makes a play for Switch. This is what I was waiting for. A lot of opponents were just, for whatever reason, not playing for swap whatsoever, but Switch Advantage is genuinely very helpful here if you do have a grass type in the back. However, this Cacturne is now going to be met with a Cross Chop, and that will inflict some serious damage. Cross Chop into the Cacturne is going to be shielded. There's the switch into Swadloon, and Swadloon is answered with the Tentacruel. Now this matchup is terrible for Swadloon. Swadloon is not going to be able to do much of anything here. Energy Ball will hit for neutral, but what do you do after that? You can't Bug Bite down. Swadloon just forced to let this go. It can't do much. Scald is going to connect. Swadloon is going to get fully farmed down. But the game should still be a win because Barbaracle can just shield here. Oh, he no-shielded. Scald might KO. Scald does not. He survives on 1 HP. He could have very easily shielded that and taken the win. I guess really confident in that 2-13-14 Barbaracle, and he's able to take the win in dramatic fashion. We move to the next game, and this one, I was going to try and pronounce that username, but I have no idea how to pronounce that. Ooh, picking up a tough lead in Tropius. Tropius is able to outpace here. Opponent switches into Tentacruel. What are they doing? What are they doing? They switch out of a dominantly positive matchup into a terrible one. I guess they saw the rock typing and were worried, but oh my goodness. These 2400 elo battles have me stressed out. My goodness, there's way too much going on. Back in comes the Tropius, but Tropius is now down energy. And that's not where it wants to be. If it just stayed in from the start, it would have been fine. You strictly outpace, they shield the Stone Edge, and now they're just gonna get hit with Mawile. Leaf Blade KOs Barbaracle, but the damage is already done. In comes Mawile, it's Jellicent in the back, and the opponent resigns. I don't know if that was over though. I mean, Swadloon did have a shield advantage, but Bug Bite not gonna do much in the Ghost type. Hopping to the final match, leading into Tentacruel. And are we going to get one more Tentacruel double grass for the road? It looks like the answer will be yes. We're going to see the Sludge Bomb fired off by Amoonguss. Mawile farming up and looking to pick up the KO with the Iron Head. Iron Head into the Amoonguss. Amoonguss is going to no shield, no play for switch. Instead, they're just going to go for farm on Tentacruel. They are waiting down the timer here. Tentacruel is going to get a pretty healthy farm, and Iron Head, as we've seen, it's not going to do much to Tentacruel unless it's boosted, which it is not. So Tentacruel does exit with quite a bit of energy. Tentacruel now going to be answered with Barbaracle, and Barbaracle is going to no-shield as the Scald comes through. Scald is going to land. We're probably going to see a switch out here. There it is, right on cue, into the Cacturne. Cacturne able to make a last-second charge attack here. Dynamic Punch connects, and Swadloon is going to get that full farm down. Back in comes the Tentacruel. The opponent is refusing to quit. We've seen many Cacturne players surrender at this point, but this trainer is playing it out to the bitter end. They have a lot of energy on this Tentacruel, but they need 3 charge attacks. Even if they can Acid Spray here, they're never farming down. That's what they're trying for. They're going for the Acid Spray win con here, but it's just not enough. The Mud Slap goes through. There's Acid Spray number 2, and that's a good game. All in all, these were some of the craziest Spring Cup battles that I have seen so far. There were some games that looked completely lost, and then opponents at the 11th hour unfortunately ended up making some ill-timed swaps and turned losses into wins. Swadloon, it goes without saying, it's not a Pokemon anyone should build. This is specifically a pick for fun. But what I think this video can highlight is whenever there's a very popular team that's put out by a content creator and a bunch of people in your elo range copy it, building something to counter that strategy, even if it's a pretty silly Pokemon like Swadloon, can actually end up being a decent elo gaining strategy, just because your Pokemon doesn't need to beat most things in the meta. Like Swadloon, I'm actually pulling up PB Poke on my second monitor here as I record this. So Swadloon in the Spring Cup, win rate wise, is absolutely atrocious. But it doesn't need to beat everything if the majority of what you're seeing is going to be just a whole bunch of double grass in the back. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy watching content like this, please do consider leaving a like on the video and subscribing to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our channel members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is genuinely so appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.